Today I'm going to show you how to make goat curry or curry goat as it's referred to in the Caribbean. It's a fairly simple recipe, so let's get started. The first step is to season the meat, and I'm seasoning the meat with garlic, pepper, and salt. I'm keeping it fairly simple because this is one of those recipes that takes a long time to cook. So the meat sucks up a lot of flavor from that curry sauce in the cooking process. And as you can see, I've washed and cleaned the meat and I've cut it into bite-sized pieces. I'm just going to stir it all together just to make sure that all of that seasoning is just evenly distributed. I'm going to set this aside and then I'm going to get started on making my curry paste. To a bowl, I've added curry powder, jeera, and garam masala. I'm also adding my homemade green seasoning. The recipe for this will be linked below. To that, I'm adding water and I'm just going to mix it all together. So my green seasoning is a combination of thyme, scallion, celery, garlic, and pepper. And this is just something I use to season meat. It's kind of like an all-purpose seasoning. I'm adding a little bit more water to the paste because I thought it was a little bit dry. Making a curry paste was the way I was taught by my mom how to make curry. Let me know in the comments if you make a curry paste or if you just add the curry powder straight to the meat. Now to a pot, I'm adding oil and I need a significant amount of oil because we are going to fry that curry paste for about 5 to 10 minutes just until it's gotten nice and dark. And you're going to want to do this on like a medium to medium low heat. You don't want this to burn, so you're going to cook it just around that temperature. And I thought that this was a little dry, so I added some more oil. And I'm just going to let that fry and occasionally stirring it just to make sure that it's not burning. And once it's gotten that deep rich color, I'm going to add the meat. Now I'm going to add that goat that we seasoned earlier. And I'm going to add it to the pot and stir it around just to make sure that all of the meat is coated with the seasoning. And then I'm just going to let this cook. Don't add any liquid. The meat itself is going to release some of the juices and the meat is going to cook in those juices. And just that process of the meat cooking in the juices and all of that spices, that meat is going to suck up so much of that flavor. Now to the meat I'm adding onions and then I'm just going to let this cook. Now look at all that liquid that was released from the meat. And this is just going to cook in its own juices for about 25 minutes until the liquid has reduced. The full recipe will be linked below in the description box. It is on my blog, jehancancook.com. Be sure to go over there and take a look around. Now to the pot I'm adding a bay leaf and this is just going to give it a nice flavor. I love to add bay leaf to my stews and curries. Now that the liquid has reduced, I'm going to add water. And you're going to let this bring it to a boil and allow it to simmer until the meat is tender. Now you can either cook it that way or you can cook it in a pressure cooker. Using a pressure cooker cuts the cooking time significantly while tenderizing the meat. I personally like to use my pressure cooker when I'm cooking cuts of meat that tend to be a little tough just to reduce that cooking time. But I do make sure to allow that meat to really fry and cook in its own juice before pressuring it. Now I pressured it for about 20 minutes and as you can see it is falling off the bone. That's what you want. You want it to be tender but not mushy and falling apart. And I'm just going to let this cook a little bit more and allow that sauce to thicken. I'm not adding any potatoes or chickpeas or anything to the sauce, so I do need it to cook down so that it can become thick. And as you can see, I'm finishing it off with chopped scallions. I serve the goat curry with roti, and I've shared the recipe to this roti before on the channel, and I will leave the link below in the description box. So if you want to know how to make super flaky, fluffy roti, you need to go and check that video out. That is it. It could not be easier, and this is absolutely delicious. It's packed with a ton of flavor. It's great with rice or roti. Now, if this is your first time here and you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next time.